This is Cyclotomorphus casuarinae, the she-oak skink, very rare in captivity, very highly sought after. Related to the fairly common pink-tongued skinks. This is adult size, they don't get much bigger than this. Relatively plain on the back, beautifully patterned on the underside. A lot of people think that the name casuarinae comes from the fact that their patterning looks a little bit like your casuarina seed pods, but it's actually named after one of the boats in the Bowden expedition when they were first identified. So it actually has nothing to do with its preferred habitat or its appearance. So this is Cyclotomorphus gerardi, the pink-tongued skink. Another heat-sensitive species, but very good one in captivity. If handled regularly, they tame down quite well. When they're not handled, they do tend to be a bit on the cranky side. You can see his little pink tongue there. Closely related to the blue-tongued skinks. Very adaptable in captivity. Okay, this is your Gidgee spiny-tailed skink, Gurnia stokesii. A little bit more robust than your Cunninghams and your Hosmers, a lot thicker. Similar sorts of problems. They are quite aggressive. They're quite difficult to sex, but a little bit more outgoing than some of your other species. They tame down quite well, are happy on a diet of fruit and veggies and a little bit of meat-based diet, as well as a few insects. But overall, a very pleasant species. They're a live bearer. They have 2 or 3 babies at a time. Usually January, February, most babies are born. And yeah, we're quite happy there. They're technically more of a arboreal species, living in tree hollows and things like that, but quite happy in a ground-based enclosure as well.
In this episode, we've road tested blue tongues and shinglebacks, both of which can make great pets. But what if you can't choose between the two? I guess the answer would be a shingle tongue. But seriously, hybrids do occur in nature, and of course are much more likely if different species are kept together. This curious beast is a cross between a shingleback and its closest relative, the common eastern blue tongue. It has the head, scales and colour of a shingleback, but the shape and tail of a blue tongue. Crossing any species of reptile is not something I would encourage, but I guess it's only human nature to mix and match a little bit, and the results can be interesting and sometimes quite bizarre. The road test results for this episode produced the following scores. For the shingleback, newborns go for about $150 each, so on price I gave them a score of 8. The shingleback is regularly bred in captivity, but has a very low reproductive rate, so a 7 seems right here. Generally, shinglebacks present few maintenance problems if given adequate heat, so a score of 6. Unlike most other blue tongues, shinglebacks don't do very well if kept in outdoor enclosures outside of their natural range. They are sensitive to higher humidity and will develop respiratory problems if kept outside along the east coast of Australia. They therefore require extra heating, so electricity bills will be higher than for the blotched blue tongue, a score of 5 for garaging. Providing a balanced diet does require some effort, but shinglebacks will conveniently eat most foods, a score of 5 in the fuel category. Wow factor. Some of the West Australian morphs are quite beautiful, and selective breeding is improving some of the more common colour morphs, so a wow factor score of 6 seems right here, giving a total score of 37. Now for the blotched blue tongue. Newborn blotchies go for about $100 each, so on price I gave them a score of 8. The blotched blue tongue is regularly bred in captivity and produces up to 8 young, so a score of 8 on availability seems right here. Blotchies are a low maintenance pet if kept in an adequate sized enclosure, a score of 8. Blotchies do very well in an outside enclosure and can be kept outside all year round. They will also happily live in an indoor enclosure, a score of 7 for garaging. As with the shingleback, providing a balanced diet does require some effort, but they will conveniently eat almost any food, a score of 5 in the fuel category. Wow factor. Blotchies score higher than the common blue tongue, but they are still a pretty familiar lizard, so a wow factor score of 5 seems right here, giving a total score of 41. For reptile licensing requirements, contact your local National Parks office.
For care sheets on the animals road tested on today's show, make sure you visit Adrian's Reptile World on the web at reptiles.com.au, where you'll find lots of useful tips and information on the upkeep and well-being of your pet.